Well. Steven from a previous season has come out with a post where he says, "Hate to do this to you all, but I need you all to go tell or help Olga to get a job so I can move on with my life. She hasn't worked a full-time job since October and we've been separated since July of 2024. She hasn't applied to any jobs and has done 1 to 2 jobs in the past few months. I'm not sure if she just doesn't take her life seriously and she has expectations that I need to pay her." And then also continues here by saying, "You work and I'm home all day with your kids. You need to pay me as I'm a nanny. I hear every single day. But we're not together. That's her parental responsibility since she doesn't work. She wants me to pay her to pay our nanny so she can go out and have fun, but meanwhile is unemployed. Like, I don't even think she can truly support herself. But I sure can pay for 2 entire apartments." I mean, listen, clearly these two have broken up after many years together. And Steven has come out pretty much begging the public to somehow help her get a job, or should I say, to basically just give her a job by the sounds of it, because how can we help someone apply for a job if she's not motivated to do it on her own accord? So maybe he's hoping that somebody will just DM her and offer her a job, but even then it doesn't mean that she's willing to take it. But this is nothing but ugly at this moment in time. Now, some of the comments are quite interesting. This one itself here starts off by saying, "Effing you. I rewatched their season a month ago and she was such an absolute piece of shit to Olga the whole time. He threw a fit at the hospital, ripped the baby out of her arms right after she gave birth, threatened to take the baby back to the States immediately after getting his passport, was constantly screaming and belittling Olga, and worst of all, he told Olga she was paying too much attention to the baby and not enough attention to him. The baby was maybe 5 days old. He will forever be in my top 3 most vile people to ever be on the show. And considering the creeps we have seen, that says a lot." I ain't gonna lie to you, that does say a whole lot. But also in reply, as you can see, this person says that scene where he was berating her for not paying attention to him literally a day or 2 after getting home from a traumatic C-section haunts me. Listen, no woman wants to go through the process of delivering a child, and even especially if you have to also have the C-section as well. To be fair, I don't think obviously the difference between the C-section and it coming out of the, but I can imagine that regardless of which one you get it, either way though, both experiences are going to be traumatic. And for a man or whoever you're with to come in there and literally say, "Hey, you're not giving me no attention," yeah, that's nasty work. Absolutely nasty. Everybody should know now that the moment a woman gives birth, expect her to give most of her attention at the very first few days, sometimes even the first few weeks, and sometimes even the first few months, to be purely dedicated to the baby. And sadly, the partner just has to come second until further notice. Sometimes some partners do become second choice literally for way too long, which is understandable. But some of them, it's all about how you support your woman. If your woman has just given birth to your child, okay, you got to do what you can to support each other, help each other, and then hopefully that can help bring back the balance that you had before of you being a priority to your woman. But you can't expect it just to happen just like that. If she's just giving birth and then now she's doing all these things to raise a child and you're not doing much, do you see what I'm saying? Come on now. But nonetheless though, it's all subjective, dependent on the people involved in the relationship and how they've obviously and how the relationship has always been anyway. Now also it does say here, pretty sure he's on the hook to support her. Don't these types of visas require a sponsor? I remember that from someone's episode. You are responsible for the immigrant for at least 10 years, right? If that's the case, quit bitching, Steven. You signed up for this. I mean, listen, that is a very common known fact that you are responsible for the person that you bring to the States for the most part, and you are responsible for 10 years for the most part, unless they go something completely different. I don't know. But this person does say if the immigrant signs up for welfare like food stamps and stuff, the sponsor has to pay the government back, not necessarily supporting the immigrant, and that's within 10 years of them migrating over. The show does a horrible job explaining the immigrant rules. Well, there you go. Because obviously, you know, when it comes to the rules, they change, doesn't it really depend on the situation and obviously what visa. There's so many variables to it, but the most common one is that you do sponsor someone and you are responsible for 10 years. That is the most common one, you know what I mean? But also on top of that, this person says, I think the incoming spouse isn't allowed to apply for receive any type of government assistance for the first 10 years, even if they split from the state's born spouse. Stephen is a hair trigger. He's a hair trigger. What's that? Anyway, hair trigger mess who can't go an hour without insulting, trying to control or being jealous of his wife. This is the same asshole who made her label about him and was mean as hell from the second their son was born. He even glared at her when she spoke during their couple's interviews on 90 Day. I was always nervous for Olga because of his incessant need to punish her for something. I mean, listen, there you go. I mean, this person says, I'm glad that she's free, but she's not actually free because they're still living together. And also, he's now making these posts to pretty much make her look like trash. So, yeah, she's not free, clearly. Because if she had been free, this post would have never happened. I'm not too sure what this person's talking about. I mean, this one is funny though, when someone does with the whole hasn't applied to any jobs but had 1 to 2 interviews in the last month, telepathic job applications. I mean, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? But also in reply, this person says, yeah, and let's be honest, when you have to take care full time of 2 small children and your education might not be recognized in the US, you don't exactly have your pick of the crop in terms of jobs. Well, guess what? These low qualification jobs have their fair share of applicants, so she might have applied to hundreds of fast food chains, grocery stores, etc. But if each job had 100 applicants, it isn't surprised she only got 1 or 2 interviews. Anyways, I wish her luck because the guy is controlling POS who will use their children to always have a say in the way she lives. To be fair, something that did crossed my mind upon reading some of these comments and whatnot was, what if she doesn't want to get a job because she's afraid to leave the kids alone with him? You know, what if she's afraid that leaving, if she went away and got a job, whatever, he might just run away with the kids? I don't know, you know, because there are some people who will refrain themselves from getting jobs so they can stay around the kids all the time because they're afraid of what may happen to the kids with the person that they don't want to be with because that person's an a-hole. Do you see what I'm saying? So there could be that part of it, you know what I mean? She could fear it, because also at the same time, let's not forget though, the nanny that is there is obviously one that he paid for, right, or whatever. So yeah, no, I can understand the frustrations. And to be fair, when it comes to the custody battle, I don't know how that works. And when I say that, because she is not American born or whatnot, and she's there obviously on a potential 10-year visa, if they were to get a split, well, obviously they do have, but if they would have a custody battle, like who, do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's the same thing, you know, because I understand it's probably based on who's in the birth certificate, you know what I mean? But who does it favor? Does it favor the American or the foreign person? Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe she's also afraid that if she was to leave the baby with him, whatever, or she's afraid that she can't actually, you know, get full custody of the kids because they're not in a, you know, because of the fact that she's not an American. Do you know what I'm saying? So I do wonder if that's a factor. Interesting stuff. Nonetheless though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.